Good morning. It's time for another edition of the Hokey video blog here on the Wave 3 Weather blog. So glad you can join us. I'm Meteorologist Ryan Hoke, and we're here with a brief look at what the forecast may bring for us snow-wise during the upcoming week. I know this morning out there it was pretty chilly. We had a beautiful sunrise, and of course that's going to lead to a nice weekend. But once we get through that, that's when we're going to be watching for the potential for some rain showers, eventually some snow showers as well. Let's get you through your Hokey weather fact of the day first, and it's the fact that trees that don't get enough water prior to fall drop their leaves before they obtain that great color that we like to see. Of course, this year we've had fantastic fall color, and folks have been asking me, Ryan, what is the weather reasoning behind all of this good color? Well, part of it is this right here. We're coming off the wettest October that we've had ever in Louisville's history, and certainly with all of that rainwater stored up in those trees, they provided some fantastic color. So if you're getting out there to rake some of those leaves, you're seeing those beautiful oranges and reds out there this morning and across the area for this weekend. Now, here's our next system, this big cold plunge we have been advertising very well for about the past week or so. And we're going to be seeing this as we go throughout your Tuesday into your Wednesday. Really, this will start, though, on Monday night as this system pulls through the area. This is going to be what gives us our rain chance and potentially some snowflakes as we go throughout this time frame. Now, what is this I'm showing you? This is called Vorticity, and this is the Vorticity forecast as we go throughout your Tuesday at around 1 o'clock. I'm not going to explain this too thoroughly, but the key here is to know that anything in front of this red area right here is where you're going to have enough lift to fire off some of those rain showers and some of those snow showers. The reason why I'm showing you this is to show you how quickly this system is going to be pulling through. This is really accelerated in the latest runs of the models that we look at. So by Tuesday, by 1 o'clock, really the potential for any sort of precipitation is already down across East Tennessee, southeastern parts of Kentucky, and into the Virginias. The system that we showed you with the big cold plunge graphic, of course, is outlined by this area right here. This is this big area of high pressure that's going to be setting in, bringing us much, much cooler temperatures as we head throughout next week. And this is going to be affecting us really throughout our Tuesday, Wednesday, our Thursday, and eventually by Friday, we begin to warm things up. Now let's talk about snow, shall we? Here's our futurecast. This is the 12-kilometer RPM model for those folks out there who are savvy on some of the models. And pay attention to the temperatures. So by Monday, 7 o'clock, Louisville's temperature is 44 degrees. Check out Indy, though. They're already down to 34 degrees. Well, that was supposed to be a line, not an arrow. Let's try that again. Okay, so 34 degrees there in Indy, and you can already tell that they've got snow breaking out just south of there. Some of these rain showers changing to snow showers behind this front. And here in Louisville, still just rain at this time. But as we advance through this model, you'll notice that by 11 o'clock, it does paint some snow in here, but the temperature not below freezing yet. 34 degrees here in Louisville. Certainly some spots could be near or below freezing during this time. But at this point, it looks like accumulation will be slim to none at this point because we don't really have those cooler temperatures until we roll throughout the morning on your Tuesday. We're eventually below freezing there by 5 o'clock, but yeah, the snow is already to our southeast. Nashville, parts of southeastern Kentucky, maybe Corbin, Kentucky. Areas like that are experiencing while the colder air lags behind just a little bit. So this is something we'll watch. We'll watch the temperature trend because that will determine really if any of this snow can stick to the ground. And at this point, with the warm ground temperatures that we still have in place, that's not looking terribly likely. Let's show you some of the model output snow-wise. Now, this is the 6Z NAM model, the North American Mesoscale model. Look what it does. Over an inch of snow here in Louisville, parts of Jackson, Kentucky, all the way down to Paducah, also getting an inch plus. Here's the problem with this, though. This is what we call an off-hour run. The regular runs are pretty much 0Z and 12Z. That's when the balloon data, of course, the National Weather Service releases these weather balloons into the atmosphere to gather upper atmospheric data. That data is inserted into the 0 and the 12Z runs, whereas the 6 and the 18Z runs are using this old data. So the data that it outputs isn't as credible as those other runs. And of course, the NAM before was putting out much lighter snowfall amounts with the heavier stuff off to our east, much like the GFS is still doing with its 6Z run. Check it out. Under an inch of snow here, and of course the heavier amounts across parts of Ohio into parts of Pittsburgh as well, where they get 1.2 inches. Notice that we do have about a half an inch forecast for here, but again, with these warm ground temperatures, I really don't think it's going to stick, and it's going to have a hard time because of those cooler temperatures having a harder time catching up with the precipitation that's falling. Here's the European model, very close to the GFS model at this point in terms of amounts for here, about a half inch or so. And of course, it paints just slightly higher amounts down toward Knoxville, parts of the Appalachians, and on up toward Pittsburgh as well. So even though we have these amounts being painted, anywhere where you see that lighter blue shade is not really high in confidence that we'll see anything stick to the ground. So this is going to be a snow shower and a flurry event pretty much for early Tuesday, in my opinion, right now, based on what some of the stuff we're seeing. But there is the potential, certainly, for some of those white rooftops. Maybe some folks will see just a very small accumulation, but not looking like a big deal across Kentuckiana. Of course, we are the leader in forecasting across the area when it comes to snow, because a lot of us are snow geeks, me and Brian especially. You probably heard the term bots used quite a bit. Well, we'll be bringing on that snow, certainly, as we go throughout your Monday night into your Tuesday morning. Stay with us. We will have the latest on the data and the forecasts as they continue to develop throughout this weekend and into next week. For now, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hoke. Thanks for tuning in.